Hey there, Film Buds. Welcome back to the Film Buds podcast after a hiatus.
Woo, woo.
First one in a whole year of hosting.
Yeah, we just took a week off. That's so unlike us. Hope you didn't miss us too much.
The few of you didn't.
Whoa.
But it is honestly good to be back. You know, last week it was just cramped, honestly, and things didn't work out the way that I had hoped in terms of getting the episode ready.
But we are here.
Yes.
And we are raring to go.
And we brought to you a double feature.
Yeah, because of this hiatus.
Yeah, you know, so you're getting a double episode this week.
Double Thanksgiving down.
That's right. As I say in one of the episode descriptions that you can read, it's like a second plate of Thanksgiving helpings.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So we decided to do a little bit of a horror Thanksgiving episode. We love horror.
Always.
You knew that you weren't going to get away. If there is a month that we can fit in horror, horror will be fit in.
And honestly, when isn't there a month where horror just fits right on in?
February?
Black History Month.
Oh, well, also, I was thinking,
Candyman.
Valentine's Day, My Bloody Valentine.
Well, there you go.
I proved myself wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's no month.
There is no month where horror doesn't belong in the hearts and minds of the people.
That's right. Because horror is a genre for the people.
Exactly. By the people. Ah?
There you go, folks.
Well, there
Lincoln himself.
I mean, gosh, made it political over here.
But no, it's a great time. And I think Thanksgiving horror is a fascinating concept. What is horrifying about Thanksgiving?
Is that an honest question for me, or is that just for the world?
No, it is both for the listener, but it is for you.
What is horrifying about Thanksgiving? I guess we could go into like the baser instinct of like this idea of like what it's become, this like gluttonous period of like plenty kind of thing. This whole holiday that is wrapped around the sheer idea of eating. You know, we don't have any other holidays like that. You know, 4th of July, you go out and you see fireworks. Christmas is about the presents. You know, Halloween is about candy, but it is also about, you know, getting dressed up and the whole thing about it. Where like Thanksgiving is
plus you get your steps in.
Yeah, exactly. But Thanksgiving is purely about getting dressed up and going and having a dinner with your family.
A whole meal.
Exactly.
Just a day meal. It's not a dinner.
No, yeah. It's because you're eating it at 2:30.
To call it a dinner.
It's because you're eating it at 2:30, and then you're going to watch football or something afterwards, and then you're going to
continue to scoop.
Exactly. And then you're going to have dessert, and then you're going to wish you hadn't had dessert. And that's Thanksgiving. And then the rest of the night is spent binging deals online. While you pretend to watch the rest of the football game.
Or whatever movie marathon that has fallen upon the TV.
Christmas. At this point.
Miracle at 34th Street.
No, honestly, because at the end of the day, once truly, like, Thanksgiving is over, like, the Christmas holiday begins. And so many places will instantly just go, all right, here we go, guys. Like, we're just gonna, like, start bombarding the public. Like political ads.
Christmas beer. Christmas candy.
Because out of nowhere, fall is over. I think that that's truly what Thanksgiving almost symbolizes is this like end of fall and this like into like, because this is the last time of, I guess, plenty. You know, is the fall season, because then like, that's when everything gets barren, you know. But don't worry about it, because you got all this like hope and joy and Christmas to think about. But then like, what happens after Christmas?
So, my idea of what is horrific around Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Claustrophobia.
Okay, you're gonna have to elaborate on that one for me.
The sensation of feeling trapped with people.
Okay.
You know, you can't go anywhere. Everything is closed. You know, I mean, like, some things are open, but, like, you can't really go anywhere. And, you know, for some people, I didn't necessarily have, like, a Thanksgiving where I felt like I was trapped. But I gave it some thought today. I was like, what do I think some people could find truly horrifying about Thanksgiving? Being trapped with people that don't understand you, you know, or being trapped in some sort of alien environment, or just feeling, you know, emotionally sort of even tapped out, I guess, in that sort of sense. But surrounded, you know, endlessly.
Well, I guess that is... I feel like that for me is more so about, like, a Christmas feeling.
Oh, interesting.
Because I think more things are... like, everything is closed on Christmas.
True.
Whereas, like, Thanksgiving, there is some wiggle room, but there's also, like, that isolation of the fact that it is, you know, it's the middle of December, it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not only there's nothing to do, but there's also, like, you don't really want to be outside either. So, like, you truly are just, like, secluded in this house with people.
But I think that there's more of a stereotype of a Thanksgiving Day argument breaking out than a Christmas argument breaking out.
Yeah, because again, it's about being around people and eating food. You're getting dressed up to impress your family over an abundance of dinner.
Fair.
You know, again, like it's a holiday about gluttony.
Well, and of course also, eventually, not this week, next week, we'll get into the real history of Thanksgiving. And I think there's also a certain degree to horror, as we'll discuss in one of our episodes, about the idea of tradition.
One of our movies.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Coolio.
So, without further ado, I guess we'll jump into it. And our first movie is a very odd, very short film.
I mean, honestly, our other one isn't that much longer.
No, but it didn't feel as long, but we'll get into that.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Called ThanksKilling. And so our first film, ThanksKilling, from 2008, is not rated.
Uh-huh.
It is an hour and 10 minutes long. And it is written by Jordan Downey, Brad Schultz, and Kevin Stewart. And it is directed by Jordan Downey. And it stars Wanda Lust as my favorite cast member, Naked Pilgrim.
That's right. She
But
doesn't
more
even get a name.
seriously, we have, of course, Chuck Lamb as Sheriff Roud. God, this cast list is honestly a disaster.
That's the whole review. I don't need to hear any more. Hysterical.
And our plot summary is a homicidal turkey axes off college kids during Thanksgiving break. And without any further ado, I'm going to pass it off to you.
Fantastic.
Take it away.
All right. What do I have to say about ThanksKilling after I've marinated and digested this movie a little bit?
Wait. Hold on. Real quick. Quick interlude. I should interject that the tagline is gobble gobble, motherfucker.
That's correct. That is the tagline of this movie, and it is it doesn't prepare you for anything. Absolutely nothing. And that says a lot. And that says a lot about this movie. I think that the moment that I realized that very early on, that I noticed that this turkey was played by a hand puppet, I knew exactly what kind of film that I was in. You know, it wasn't even like a good hand puppet. We're talking like a piece of rubber glove that was like hot glued together in a weird way and like painted. And that's what this turkey looked like. It's horrendous, and it's probably one of my favorite parts of the film.
I want to let you continue, but I do want to just real quick interlude about your rubber glove comparison. I'm not sure if it is still in the attic of my parents' home, but once upon a time I had a latex, rubbery Triceratops.
Oh, I think that thing is still upstairs, yeah.
And same thing.
Yeah, just...
If I just, like, glued down the Triceratops parts and maybe bleached it a little, it would be the exact same thing. But
oh my
I'll
gosh,
let you continue.
Are there sequels to this film?
There's one. There's one sequel.
Okay.
It is called ThanksKilling 3.
Yes, I do remember us talking about this now. So this film, so the first film is in a nutshell bad. It's a bad movie, in the most hilarious ways of just being a terribly bad movie. There are moments in this film that I honestly didn't know if they were aware of how bad it was, or they were playing into how bad it was. Like, it was really a toss-up from scene to scene.
Troll 2 stuff.
It's absolutely terrible. It's there's no describing this film, because I would have to give you the entire plot verbatim of what happens from the movie starting with a huge pair of tits just right there. And that's the whole thing, is this first pilgrim from the 1600s gets murdered by a homicidal turkey while running around with her tits out. Mm-hmm. And that's how the movie starts, because like it's not even like maybe are her boobs out. It's like we start in on a close up.
That was Wanda Lust,
yes,
by the way.
Yes, the naked pilgrim herself. It starts out with a solid, just like, still of a nipple. And then it like zooms out to the rest of her. Like, it's her boob. It's right there. And you think that the rest of the film is going to be like this. Like, on crack cocaine, showing me tits right out the bat. No, you'd be sorely mistaken. They will reference sex. They will say things that happen during sex, but it's almost like a pack of virgins talking about sex in this kind of like high school theater-esque manner.
Oh, you did it?
No, yeah, it's just really heavy-handed, and the teenagers are terrible. Our main teenager, the one who's supposed to be like our ingenue, she's my least favorite. I even preferred the one who just was like, I'm the dumb blonde one, over our main girl, because at least she stuck to her bit. Our main girl, I was like, I don't understand why anybody finds you interesting. But the saving grace in this film is the parents, is the adults cast in this film. They come in for brief stints and they leave an everlasting mark. The main girl's dad is the sheriff, who has the absolute worst mustache on his face, and he does not let that hinder any part of him. He is perfect in every way, shape,
if anything,
or form.
he owns it.
Honestly, I think that he picked having the mustache. Actually, one of the funniest things that the turkey did was a whole bit where they ended up taking this man's face and really cheaply putting like a fake face on this fake turkey hand.
Okay, let me jump in. Let me jump in.
It's so bad.
Let me jump in. So ThanksKilling. ThanksKilling is maybe one of the longest hour and 10 minutes I've ever spent. Game of Thrones episodes longer have felt shorter.
That's because they had a plot.
This movie is one of the best things I've ever seen. It is truly bad.
It's so terrible.
And I love it.
Oh my god.
I remember, student films that I have seen that I think at times had glimmering moments of genuine art that this film does not have. It is remarkable. I love it. It is something that I've thought about a lot. I love the dichotomy of some of the actors getting it and some of the actors not.
Oh my god.
I love watching them miss each other. Our turkey gets it.
Well, that's why he's supposed to be like our Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, and he does a great job.
Yeah.
He nails every line delivery. He's like Bill Hader with Jerry. Like he's hitting every mark. Our killer turkey gets it. Our adult cast, to your point, the sheriff, the homeless guy,
Yes,
the
the
vagabond figure,
the guy with the dog.
incredible. Our, as I called him, Nick Cajun Pig.
That's right. That's right.
Both of those guys doing great jobs. Every time that they are on screen, num 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 num. They're eating it up. The other cast, wandering, but it is fascinating. I really debate whether it is the director telling them to feel more lost, or them just truly not knowing what movie they're in. But whatever the case is, I'm fascinated. I'm hypnotized.
See, I've got a theory.
Drop it on me.
I've got a theory. I think that they are all new to acting.
Oh, okay.
I think that all of all of them. I think that maybe the adult cast has done like some Community stuff, but I think that this is everybody's like first like big thing, and everybody's
first movie.
Yeah, I think that maybe this is like the first time that these people have gotten out of like we've watched Barry.
Mm-hmm.
These people are day one those people from Barry.
Mm.
And they're just really jazzed to be here, and they don't really know what they've signed up for, and they got the script that day.
Yeah.
And they are going for it, and they are putting all of it in there, but that's also why every version of these characters are exactly what you expect from them, but the worst version of it. Because it's this weird, like, overdoing of something that is already, like, bad. That's why the girl who's the slut is just, like, so terrible, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, come over to my house, like, let's have sex.
Am I the slut?
Like, it goes past the point of doing it on purpose, because at the end of the day, it's not actually funny. It's not supposed to be. And that's the thing, It's an accident. Yeah. This was probably one of a few takes that they got to do of the script that they just got that day.
And this is the one that they decided was the best.
And they had a week to film this. 1 week to film this.
Whole movie. Yeah.
Whole movie in a week. So they just ran through this thing, chugged through it. And I think that the thing that makes this movie like worse than The Room to watch is like the fact that those actors had slightly more acting ability than these actors. Like they were just there on the cusp of being a good, getting into the business, where these people have not acted since.
Yeah. Yeah.
But please continue. Please continue with your analysis of this movie. I've been very much enjoying it.
Look, I don't know. I was it's fascinating to watch something like ThanksKilling. You know, it's this, you know, this little pocket film that I'm sure also has its own very devout devotees. And it's really interesting to go and watch this movie. And every film, you know, does take so much effort. And so this movie for me, it was bad.
Oh,
it was not good.
So bad.
How much of that was intentional? How much wasn't? We'll never know. And I love the strange, rough, half diamond, half still coal piece that we have.
Oh, baby, this movie is so 2008. It is offensive.
Oh yeah, actually it's not even 2008. It's belligerently 2003.
Yes, it is.
It is a 2008 movie, but it is belligerently 2003.
No, yeah, it's the pre-internet funnies, you
Yeah.
know. It's my best way of describing this film is it's literally a porno without any of the porn. It's just all of the badly stitched together scenes.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's what it is, you know. I feel like that probably was the motivation for this film was like, what if we basically made a porno, but with a killer turkey instead of sex?
Yeah.
You know? I understand why people like this movie. I understand why this movie has a cult following, just like I love The Room. I understand why people love this film.
Yeah.
You know, like, I have a sick obsession.
Do you want to watch the sequel?
Oh, yes, I do.
Because that's all that matters.
Because honestly, at the end of the day, I think I'm more curious about the second one. I want to know what happens next. Like, if this was the first go, then that must be the second one.
Because, like, the radioactive turkey still gets fucked up.
Yeah. Well, it's also kind of like a Chucky almost in that sense, where it's like, you know, he dies, but he always comes back.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm definitely involved in the idea of...
Because I think it's going to be like the second Chainsaw Massacre movie, and that's my favorite. So...
we can only hope.
Yes, truly. Truly.
So if you had to rate ThanksKilling out of 5, what do you give it?
I mean, I have to give it an honest score. I have to give this real life scoring. This movie is maybe a 1.5, but is like a solid 1 on the meter. Like, it's just a bad film, but it gets that tick for being funny. You know what I mean? But it's just a bad movie.
3 out of 5.
You gave it a 3.
Should watch.
Oh my god, highly recommended.
No. I said should watch. I did not highly recommend.
Fine. I misspoke. Watch this movie if you are bored and want to find a Thanksgiving movie that'll make your parents blush.
No, you know what? Watch it to appreciate movies. You'll watch this movie,
and you'll watch something else.
You'll step away, and you'll suddenly reevaluate a different movie. A good movie, a bad movie. You'll suddenly have a different opinion about some movie.
Watch this movie
3 out of 5
to cleanse yourself of all of the children things that you have to watch with your kids.
Also, this movie is radical at times. It's funny as shit.
Oh my god.
The fake mustache mask bit, to your point,
is the funniest part.
It's a hat on a hat gag, and I love it.
But that's the part where I was like, wait, people are aware that this is the joke, right? It's because of the fact that entire scene, nobody recognizes the fact that this is a turkey in a person mask with a fake mustache on.
3 out of 5. Definitely watch it. You should watch it. It's not necessarily a recommend, but you should watch it.
I mean,
it's a fine line.
It is not for all audience, not suitable for all audiences.
No, all audiences, whenever they reach the appropriate age, should watch it.
That's why I said it's not suitable for all audiences. That's the whole thing.
They'll get there.
That's fine.
But every person should eventually watch this. Citizen Kane.
No, stop lying to the people. I feel like we should move on. Jesus
so
Christ.
Our next film
vastly different mood.
Sort of comes from an interesting series that is available on Hulu. Hulu has this sort of anthology series called Into the Dark, and each installment is a movie-length segment. None of them are really related, but they all revolve around a holiday.
They all do?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad that we can do this again at Christmas time. Fantastic.
Yeah, we could have multiple options.
Oh, well, of course. Always Christmas has
there
multiple
are 2
options.
Seasons.
Oh. Well, the plot thickens. Continue.
So, we decided that we would go and watch this one that caught our eye called Pilgrim. I had watched some Into the Dark stuff. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Pilgrim came out in 2019. It was directed by Marcus Dunstan. It is written by Noah Feinberg, Marcus Dunstan, and Patrick Melton. It stars Rain Edwards as Cody, Kerr Smith as Shane, Courtney Hengler as Anna, Peter Giles as Ethan, Beth Curry as Catherine, Elise Levesque as Patience, and Taj Spates as Finn. And the premise is a woman invites reenactors to produce an authentic first Thanksgiving for her family and friends. However, things take an unexpected turn when the actors refuse to break character. So, I'll kick things off. I have seen a few episodes of this.
Okay.
Or installments. I had watched some when I was living in Austin with Mom. We would go and we would watch them kind of like at the same time, and we would text throughout, and then we would call each other after, and we would talk about them.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
And so we watched a few of them from the first series that ran up to like half the year. Mm-hmm. And I liked them. You know, they weren't like necessarily mind-blowing those first few, but I really enjoyed them. They were good, like, workman, horror films. Like, I really enjoyed them. We enjoyed watching them. We enjoyed talking about them. One is about, like, a hitman terrorizing a group of people that realize that he's a killer on Christmas, I think it is.
Okay.
Maybe it's Halloween. But it's a lot of fun. And so I really enjoyed all of them. This one, I think, however, out of, the ones that I remember watching before, I think that this one is actually the one that really took the biggest, strangest bite out of its holiday.
Oh, interesting.
I think that this one really took this idea of Thanksgiving and said, let's use Thanksgiving as a fucking lasso and do some lasso tricks, with this concept of horrifying people with Thanksgiving. that concept of reenactors doesn't necessarily do it justice. It's almost like you suddenly started living with the cast of The Crucible.
Oh, that's exactly what it is.
And that's horrifying. As they slowly start to infect and take over in this weird, subtle, puritanical, pilgrimy, folksy way, until eventually horror is unleashed. And I think that they also captured that idea of, again, family dynamics being played out to their most extreme point, the underlying tension, and therefore also the tightening sensation that I think that some people can feel around holidays, whether it be Christmas or Thanksgiving or what have you. But these pivotal family-based holidays, and I think that it really captured that claustrophobia and that idea of tensions coming to a head really, really well, while also doing some insane shit whereby dear Peter Giles as Ethan, for me, ran away with the whole damn motion picture.
Well, he is the main character. At the end of the day, I know that Cody is our final girl, yada yada yada. I don't care.
That's our Freddy.
Yeah, he's our villain. And he is the Pilgrim.
Mm-hmm.
It's about him.
Patience is on the poster, but
It's because she's hot.
she sells the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, she's pretty. She doesn't even need makeup, you say? Oh.
You.
No, she's a model. What are you talking about?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Nobody looked like that. Hollywood likes to pretend like people actually looked like that back in the day. Like, whatever. Sure, she may have looked like that in her best, but like, you're telling me that woman went across the Mayflower looking like, she was going to go down the runway in any time. Come on. She's got some kind of disease. She's looking rough. They all are.
I understand.
They all are.
But what are your ideas on the film overall?
Well, okay. So, no, I completely agree with all you said. It does feel like The Crucible, and I do agree also with the fact that it is not just like these reenactors come, because that's the ploy that like pulls them in, like that's the thing that she's signed up for, right? But what we get are basically people who 100% believe that they are in, the colonial era. And I think that it's this really interesting also dynamic of our main character, Cody, who is, this woman of color, but our only person of color in this entire cast, because her father is remarried, and she's the only person of color in her family. And then these pilgrims come, and all of them are obviously white because they're supposed to have shipped in from England and whatnot. So like, again, that's not also like a comforting force as well. And so it's this kind of interesting like ploy of like, all of these ideas of what Thanksgiving means butting up against what Thanksgiving was. Mm-hmm. This holiday, we're butting heads with like the idea of what the holiday means. This thing that we've put up. It was the Pilgrims and the Indians, and they had a great time, and they sang Kumbaya, and they all had a steaming hot turkey that night, and they were besties. Mm-hmm. Versus the actuality of the fact that like these people were robbed and plundered, and the fact that you can't just put like a happy spin on it, really. Of course, we get the fact that the holiday is based around, giving thanks for what you have, which is a great thing. Great. you know, and I also get why they frame it around this first dinner. Like, it's great, but it's fiction. You know, and I think that that's hard for people to understand, that we have fictionalized history so much that it is a caricature of itself. You know, and I think that that's perfectly played in this with these people who are 100% committed to the bit of the holiday, not the fact of what happened. You know, and it kind of gets to be this like weird twisted like witch trials thing that almost like happens with this family of them trying to purge them basically of the things, their sins, the things that they are ungrateful for, and enlighten this family into the true meaning of Thanksgiving. You know, I love the fact that it gets dark and weird and twisted, and like it just keeps, to your point, feeling like more and more people keep coming in and creating this constant you know, encroaching force. You know, I think that it does do a really great job doing that, and also like our cast is doing a phenomenal job as well for the most part.
They almost frame it like the entrance of a vampire.
Oh yeah, at the beginning when they do that whole first
when they
step.
cross the threshold. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, and a thought just sort of crossed my mind regarding the film. What's so interesting about the movie is some spoilers potentially ahead. Cody has this memory that we are sort of blocked from, where her mom and her dad are locked in this argument while she is trapped at the dinner table. And we eventually learn that it is at Thanksgiving. Where this whole thing is happening. And eventually her mom just walks out. And as far as we know, that's sort of the end of her relationship, even with her mother.
Oh, see, I was thinking that was the fight that made her go out and caused the accident.
Ah, okay.
See, I was thinking that her mother was gone, was dead. And
Okay.
so this was her last memory of her mother, was like centered around this like bad event at the holiday.
Copy. And so, but her mother leaves, and what's interesting is that the person that she ultimately finds common ground with and makes amends with is her stepmother. Her father truly never learns the lesson. And I think that that's a really interesting point that the movie makes, is that ultimately her father is at a certain level a lost cause.
No, yeah. But at the end of the day, like, so the like, if we're gonna, I guess, talk about this in like the symbolism of the shoulder angels.
Sure.
You know, her father is the devil on the shoulder. You know, he's constantly going back into his vice. You know, he's not getting the point. Whereas, you know, her stepmother is, you know, the angel, because even though she's doing it all the wrong way, she has all of the right intentions, and
she's trying.
She truly is. She's trying so hard to connect and to be this like open force, this mother, you know, that she knows that Cody needs. Where her father has become more and more distant, you know, and so it's this pull of whether or not Cody is going to, you know, fall into her dad's tendencies and fall further away, or, you know, finally give in to this force that maybe isn't what she's expecting, but like, you know, at the end of the day, she is grateful for her brother Tate. You know, she loves that boy with all of her heart and soul, and he would not be here, you know, if her dad hadn't met her stepmom, and maybe she isn't, you know, this Stepford wife that she's made her out to be. You know, it's this really interesting pull.
Are the Pilgrims not a certain extension of the judgment that certain communities and neighborhoods can put on people.
Well, I think that that's really framed well with the whole idea of like the party that's happening, where all the people, the HOA has come and they're having a meeting there, but it's really not a meeting. It's just a cocktail
she's
hour.
doing all of this, but she's never gonna reach Cody like this. You
know, his old wife didn't have to try so hard. You know, it's all of this, you know, no, I like that. I like that. This idea.
And they get branded. Her parents get branded.
Well, only the mom does. Only the stepmom does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the dad gets lashings.
That's right. That's right.
So I think that because she spoke blasphemy, because it was the B.
Yeah.
You know, but it's interesting also, again, these like different treatments of them.
Mm-hmm.
As well. No, I like that symbolism, this kind of puritanical, you know, reign across, where people can't feel like they can truly be themselves because they're trapped in this environment. That's why, you know, the assistant, is having a hard time. You know, she's overworked. She's not having a good time. She's just making it day by day. You know, it's because
she falls in her vices. Quote unquote, you know, the poison tea. Yeah,
exactly. Because of the fact that at the end of the day, she was too weak, you know, to survive the cutthroat nature of this this world. You know,
and her son was an unfortunate casualty of her lifestyle.
Exactly. But I also thought that it was interesting that our only people of color in this film were the children.
Yeah, you know, Cody and Finn.
It was like this kind of like step into this idea of like this new generation not looking like the old in this literal sense. You know, this woke black girl and like, you know, her light-skinned boyfriend, you know, and nobody bats an eye about them, but they're never like, you know, putting on something for this environment as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, and, of course, in the true puritanical sense, both Finn and Cody are also targets, which falls in line to a certain degree with, you know, witch hunt sort of doctrine when you look at Salem and similar witch trial hysteria outbreaks.
This idea that you can look at somebody and see the evil.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
see what's wrong with them.
Yeah, this mark of the devil that you carry. No, yeah, but also this right as people to govern some like others to such a degree as well is really fascinating. You know, they come in and they're like, "Oh, we're going to teach you about Thanksgiving, whether you like it or not."
Yeah,
you know,
and if you are smart enough and lucky enough, you'll learn the lesson before we have to take everything from you.
Mm-hmm. And the weird thing was, okay, so this is like one of my notes. So he like makes a really hard point of being like, Tate, you know, the younger brother is safe. You know, he learns the lesson. But then he starts to go around and like hide in the house, and he becomes just as much of a target as the rest of the family. So like, is he safe, or have they gone blind to
what they do?
Exactly. You know, it's this drunken power almost. And I loved the symbolism behind that as well. You know, this idea that people can, you know, completely and 100% like govern another force, you know, and even if you're doing all the right things, doesn't make you any more safe truly once, you know, the victors are drunk with power.
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie was really cool.
So if you had to rate Pilgrim out of 5, what would you give it?
I'm going to give Pilgrim... I'm going to give Pilgrim a 4, just because I felt like some of my casting, and maybe it's just all in my head, but like I felt like some of my characters were not as strong as I wanted them to be. I completely understood why they were cast, but like I was so distracted by other people. You know, I loved all of our villains. Our pilgrims were the best part of this film for me. Patience was bananas. She stole every scene she was in because she was just as crazy as Ethan was. But it was this kind of this fun, subtle, just like continuing into different levels of what that crazy meant in their own like line. It was just you always love watching a good villain.
Yeah.
But I felt like that made that like my main cast like was like
You have to reach them.
Yeah.
And are you?
Exactly. And not to say that like you know they were bad, but I think that I could have gotten
it's a high watermark.
Exactly. When somebody is giving it like everything, you know, somebody who's just like hanging out, it's gonna be a little bit more lackluster.
Mm-hmm. I'll give it a 4 because I think that it is fun, it's smart, it's creepy. You know, is it maybe at times a little bit obvious in what you can expect is coming or what someone might say, perhaps, but I think that ultimately it has great underpinnings, great ideas, solid follow through, and that's where movies and TV shows matter. Your ending matters so much, and I think that the ending of this movie lands for me.
Oh, yeah.
And that's so valuable. Especially in a horror context. And I think that our villains do so much incredible work. I think that our leads do a good job of earning their ending.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed the build. Every time they introduced some other person at the house, I was like, this is growing. Like, this insanity. It was truly, sort of astounding to me, the way that it just kept... These people just kept allowing mania to build around them.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't, okay, so I think that this is kind of like how I feel. This is how I feel about moderates. Where it's like, you invite something in, you invite in this idea. And like at first...
just let it build to a fever.
Yeah, at first it's like innocent. Okay, this is fun. It's a little weird, but it's fun. And then you just start to go down the rabbit hole more and more and more until the point where you go, oh crap, I can't swim in this anymore. How do I escape? And it's this kind of like, how far are you willing to go before your baser instincts, as an animal trigger you into being like, I'm not safe anymore.
The trouble with tribbles.
What's a tribble?
The little Star Trek puff creature. Where like they just start to multiply and suddenly you turn around and you're like, how did I find myself?
No, exactly.
Surrounded. Mm-hmm. It was just a little creature. It was just innocuous.
Yeah.
It's just reenactors.
That's right. I love that they're reenactors. They're not even actors. I love the fact that they make this like weird point being like, everybody thinks that they're like a theater troupe. But like there's a difference between a theater troupe of actors and reenactors. Mm-hmm. Reenactors are hobbyists that are very drawn into a particular time period or aesthetic.
What's also fascinating is he is reenacting. We learn that Ethan was traumatized and troubled.
Mm-hmm.
Is he reenacting in some way his own trauma?
I mean, possibly. That's how he can go down to those deep levels of like literally crying about this stuff, is because he at this point he can't separate it anymore. Mm-hmm. He has fully woven his own identity into this. If we're willing to believe that, you know, her making that wish didn't affect this fate at all, that these are just who these people are.
Oh God, we didn't even touch on the potential of fantastical, but we won't now.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Yes.
Moving on. I wanted to talk about a few things, 2 trailers. The first one, John Wick, Chapter 4. Interesting that we went John Wick, we went John Wick Chapter 2. Then we went John Wick Parabellum.
And now we're back to
chapters. And now we're back to Chapter.
The next one we have to do it off again.
We should. Because
there's going to be 20 of them.
I'm all game for 4.
Yeah.
I'm more excited about 4 on a certain level than I thought that I would be, because 3 for me was the worst of the 3 John Wick films.
I think that's a fair opinion. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Funny story. These are action movies in my brain, and so the plot is wibbly.
Okay, so
it's a lot of the shoot. Yeah. I do remember the dog
died. And he went on vengeance. The second one is the Italiano goes and calls in the blood oath. And so he's got to go and fulfill that. Mm-hmm. And he goes and he kills the guy's sister, which then calls everyone on him because his sister was at the table. Mm-hmm. And then he goes and he kills the guy at the Continental, which leads him into being in, like, ultimate trouble.
No, and I get, we've done this. We do this all the time. I'm going to be completely honest with you. They are in one ear and out the other, and the thing that sticks is all the pew-pew, and it's great. It's a great time. It is a fun action movie, and because at the end of the day, let's be honest, Keanu is one type of action movie, the silent one. Mm. And so, like, a lot of the things that are happening are just happening around Keanu as he, like, poses, basically, and kicks ass, obviously. But, like, I don't really remember anything that Keanu says in the entire film, you know, other than being like, "You killed my dog," or something.
No. His best moment, I can give you the best John Wick.
Fantastic.
Moment. It's when he is in the first movie, and he is sitting there after being captured, and the bad guy is, you know, like, being all arrogant, and he's like, "You want to say something? You can say something." And he's like, you know, "My wife died, and all I had was that dog, and you took that from me. You took my grief from me."
And I love that made an impact on you.
And he's like, "People keep on asking me if I'm back, and you know what? Yeah, I'm back." And then, you know, they throw the bag over his head, and then Willem Dafoe saves him by sniping people from afar. Willem
Dafoe is in these movies.
Only the first one.
Isn't it? That's right. That is a thing that I totally remember just now.
It also has Mayhem. From all the commercials.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I was like, whose last name is Mayhem? Mayhem. I was just over here going,
from the insurance commercials. Yes. Dennis from 30 Rock.
Oh my, yes. He is Dennis. Wow, he has a type. But no, that doesn't make me my not remembering of the plot of John Wick is my point in saying that I'm still very excited about this new one, regardless of the fact that I am totally becoming my parents and going, you know, it was a fun time. It was a fun time. It was a fun movie. Keanu was in it. It was really darkly lit. You know?
And shooty.
It was a pew fun time. It was great, you know? It was lit like an underworld movie. You're not supposed to see all the details. It's just supposed to glisten.
The second trailer that I wanted to bring up that I guess I'll talk about first is Magic Mike, The Last Dance. Let me tell you, I haven't been so excited about a movie in a long time.
Oh my god.
I saw that, and I was more excited to see Magic Mike, The Last Dance in a theater, and I'm not fucking around about this, than I was about Avatar, The Way of Water.
Oh, stop it. This is what I was talking about, though. You remember.
And I'm super pumped about Avatar, but I watched that Magic Mike trailer and I went, son of a bitch, I'm in.
That's right. Take my money.
I was like, when can I pre-order?
Oh my gosh,
It looks like such a rush. It almost reminds me of
it's like gonna be like Showgirls, man, I swear.
if Intolerable Cruelty and the first Magic Mike movie met in a strange car accident with a little dusting of Showgirls. And I'm really
dusting
excited.
of Showgirls. They have freaking Penelope Cruz in this thing.
No.
No, it's the other one.
Selma.
I do this all the time. It's Selma Hayek. Mm-hmm. Oh, I do this all the time. Doesn't matter. She looks stunning.
Oh, and this is
Come
redeems
back.
her from
Come back.
The hitman's bodyguard's wife.
That's a mouthful. That's a terrible mouthful.
The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard? The second Hitman movie with Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson.
Well, let's be honest. You know who is not interested in watching any more Ryan Reynolds movies until he gets his head out of his own ass?
You?
Yeah. that whole concept sounded terrible. Absolutely terrible. Because Ryan Reynolds has fallen off the deep end.
Well, you know, he's just gone back to Van Wilder days.
I mean, honestly, at this point,
I'm not... But people are now coasting on that.
I'm not sure if he ever left. I think that
he did not.
He just had some successes within that.
Yeah, he
that
took
blinded us to it.
Van Wilder into Deadpool.
Exactly, and Deadpool worked for a while until we had Deadpool 2, where he had too much say, and then it got worse. But thank goodness for Zazie Beetz.
Well, good news, I guess. You know, we've got good old Deadpool 3 with Hugh.
Hugh Jackman?
Oh, I didn't tell you about that?
Oh, I think you did. I just forgot because I forgot about this whole movie happening.
Yeah.
I blocked it out.
He's back for the third one.
That's fine. But is Zazie Beetz back?
No.
Well, then I'm not interested at all now. The only selling point that you had was Zazie, and I'm not interested now.
Honestly, I would rather you have brought back Josh.
Oh, yeah, the bartender friend?
No, Josh Brolin. Cable.
Oh, isn't Cable dead?
No, he survived.
Baby, I don't think
also,
that I...
he's a time traveler. He's the same as the Terminator. It's the future. Bring him back.
That doesn't mean that he can't die.
No, I'm pretty sure he lived.
Okay, I don't remember.
They get the good guy ending.
I really just... Okay. I remember the first one really, really well. I remember Zazie Beetz looking fantastic.
Currently, the main thing that I remember from the ending of Deadpool 2 is that Juggernaut gets like an electric cable in his butt and he falls into a pool of water.
I feel like I'm having a Mandela effect right now. None of this sounds familiar.
Or maybe one of us is having a stroke. Who knows?
I mean, it depends on who's smelling toast.
News at 11. And so with that in mind, the new Magic Mike movie, what are your thoughts on the trailer?
100% totally ready. Sign me up. Where do I sit? I completely agree with everything you said. I am more excited about this than I have been about so many other things. Movies have gotten very boring, and this looks like a movie that doesn't care. This movie looks like it's going to be better than the last one. And the last one, because the last one was kind of shitty, but this one
looks good.
It looks good. It looks like
Steven's back. Soderbergh is back.
Oh, we're back to basics.
Steven is back.
I am so excited about this movie. It is going to be Barb and Star, going to Vista Del Mar levels of ready for this.
You know what? You know what? That's the crossover I need.
The Magic Mike universe and Barb and Star?
Yes.
Sign me right on up.
That's the Freddy versus Jason that I need in the modern world.
That's right.
It's Barb and Star meets Magic Mike.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, imagine these women around strippers.
Barb and Star going through the entire cast. We bring back Matt Bomer. Joe, all of them. We bring back the
Tarzan.
entire... Yeah.
That's right.
And we let Barb and Star go ham on.
Oh, no.
And we'll even bring in Jamie Dornan, and he can join in on the stripper fun.
Oh, God, we can't allow Kristen Wiig to have that much fun.
Yes, we can. Because then we'll have that much fun.
You're right. That's why Wonder Woman 84 is bad. Kristen isn't having any fun.
No. She's lost. And her... No, I won't go any further. I was about to comment on Gal. I'll refrain.
We all know that she's terrible.
The last thing that I wanted to bring up is something that I have not discussed with you yet because I've really been waiting for the live reaction. There is a report about the budget for the new Fast film. Mm-hmm. So Fast 9 was apparently in the range of... Well, let me ask you. How much money do you think Fast 9 cost?
Oh my gosh, how much money is art worth? Because that's what Fast 9 is art. I'm gonna shoot for the moon. I'm gonna say that they spent a lot of money on that film, and more than it probably deserved. I don't know how much does an average movie cost to make? Well, give me a baseline.
Ooh, that's a loaded question. Okay, so I will tell you that some of the early Avengers films and some Marvel films can cost around like $200 million.
Okay.
The first It movie was like $30 million.
Okay. How much did Avatar cost to make? $1 billion? A big Billy?
No. But all 5 of the sequels might technically cost $1 billion or more.
Okay. I'm gonna say that the Fast 9 movie cost, again, way more than it should have at $50 million.
Fast 9?
Yeah, I think that they threw money away at that thing. And it's great.
$200 million.
$200 million?
Fast 9 cost around $200 million.
Yes. Waha. Well, see, you were giving me lowball numbers then. I wanted to know. So,
Endgame costs $500,000 or $500 million.
Well,
it costs
okay.
500.
But you were
$500 million.
See, you were skewing me because you were saying first generation Marvel, and that's like Iron Man Uno. So I was doing that off of that. You only gave me something at 30.
So
you did that on purpose.
The new one.
A Billy.
$340 million.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, baby. It's all of the art. It's all of the art, and it's all of the.
Well,
it's the whole cast. You have to pay for the cast.
So, F7 was currently the peak. I can't remember if Fate hit $1 billion, but I do not believe that F9 did.
Pity.
So the question is, can F10 at a ballooning cost actually be profitable? And that's currently the question hanging in the air.
Yes is the answer, because I know a lot of people like to turn off their brain and have a good time, and it's going to be a blast.
It's about the production cost also versus the advertising cost. And so those two costs are not the same.
I'm saying that this is going to pack theaters and sell out houses, and people are going to, name their babies after this movie. That's what I'm saying.
We'll have to see.
No, I mean, I have no idea. Obviously, I'm biased. I think that the Fast franchise is a hilarious meathead fest, and it's a fun ride. It's like watching a roller coaster ride. When they whipped that car, slingshotted across an open crevice.
I mean, I gotta be
Amazing.
frank. I think for most audiences, strangely, they have not gotten better than when Paul Walker was there. I think that most people kind of unplugged in a lot of ways after
The thing
that moment.
is because they were with it in real time.
And Dwayne was helping, but Dwayne left.
They were watching these movies in real time, baby. I watched these movies in a binge fest.
That's true.
Paul Walker was already gone.
Yeah, that's true. When you connected with the franchise, he had already left.
You know, I came in with hindsight vision.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that eventually he was going to stop being there, and like where the franchise went from there was going to be like an interesting turn. You know, and the franchise does change from there.
Kind of like watching The Office after learning Steve Carell.
Leaps.
When you already know he's gone, what's gonna come next?
Exactly. You know, it's fascinating.
Whereas when Steve Carell leaves while you're watching live,
It
Michael's gone?
Oh yeah, remember when everybody got tattoos when Brian the dog died on frickin' Family Guy? Everybody mourned this character just for him to come back like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
People
I
made
bet
a
Seth
huge
MacFarlane still giggles about that shit.
I still giggle about it. It's the funniest thing the Family Guy has ever done.
It's troll the world.
Yes. Yes, it was too good to watch that thing live happen. I was like, wow, they really did something. Let's see how the world feels about it.
Well, I guess that's pretty much all that I have for everyone. The last thing that I wanted to say personally was that next week we'll be doing not just planes, trains, and automobiles, but we will be specifically reviewing the 4K release that is coming out next week of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It'll actually be our first sort of like physical media specific review.
Ooh.
And I'm interested about sort of tackling that sort of discussion. Will be a lot of our focal point. Also, joining us next week, very likely, Madeline Davis.
I mean, very likely indeed. She might as well. She'll be here.
She doesn't know yet, but she's going to be in next week's episode.
Don't tell her.
She's not at all listening.
That's right.
Beyond that, our big plans, of course, just to share with y'all for Thanksgiving, we're going to be hanging out with the Davis family.
That's right.
We won't get to talk to y'all before Thanksgiving. You know, you'll be hearing from us on Black Friday. And so our...
Satan's holiday.
That's right. Satan giggles on Black Friday. And God weeps.
Yeah, as everybody gets trampled to death.
At a Walmart. And so we'll be, you know, spending our time with family, watching some films, probably. One of our favorites, we may not review it, obviously, but one of our favorites that we're going to watch for the fall holiday is When Harry Met Sally. It's a nice...
Harry Met Sally,
yeah. It's a nice holiday, you know, sort of evocative feeling. And that's all that we've got planned. Share with us what y'all have planned. Follow us on social media. Maybe not Twitter. TBD on Twitter.
TBD on Twitter, indeed. It's going under, people. Jump off or sink.
And be sure to come back next week. We always enjoy talking to you. Dear, what do you have for the people?
You know, however I guess you feel about Thanksgiving, enjoy this time off with your family. Families I know can be stressful. You know, you can always excuse yourself, you know, take some you time, but also treasure these moments as well, because at the end of the day, family is not forever. Not in, I guess, a literal sense. People pass and you get new members. It's a constant, ever-flowing cycle. And that's beautiful. And that is something to be thankful for.
No, for sure. I will piggyback off of that real quickly and say, whoever you have chosen as your family, if those are truly the people that bring you joy, are just as valid, if not more, than whoever you were born with. And if the people that you want to spend time with on Thanksgiving are other people, if spending time with people is hard for you and you want to spend Thanksgiving alone, do whatever it is, I guess, that ultimately makes you feel thankful for being here.
Yeah. And in the words of Linda Belcher, thank you for loving me. Thank you for being here. The whole world's thinking. Everybody's thanking you. Yeah. So here's the film butts, I guess, thanking you for listening.
That's right. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. We'll catch y'all on Black Friday. Bye.
Bye.